What's up, everyone? I am the marketing nomad and my name is Prithvi Madhukar. Now, in today's episode of Thoughts with TMN, we are actually going to be talking a little bit about a question that popped in my head this week, and the question was, are you hoping for the right things? Now, this is actually a question that I keep asking myself every now and then, and there's actually a reason for it. And I wanted to take some time and share my thoughts and, of course, the backstory behind it. So let's get into it, shall we? But before that, if you haven't subscribed to this podcast, or if you're watching the video version of this on this YouTube channel, definitely do hit that subscribe button. I share a lot of mindset, marketing, business tips, and I also give a deeper insight into all the thoughts that are running inside my head at this point in time. Alrighty, so now let's get into this question. And the question was, are you hoping for the right things? Now, a little bit of backstory. One of the most painful lessons that I learned during my engineering is that hope is very, very, very powerful. It has the capacity to make your life so beautiful, but it also has the capacity to absolutely destroy it. Yep, it is very, very true. Hope is that powerful. And the more that you think about it, the more you recognize that hope is so powerful enough to actually influence the decisions and the actions that you are making every single day. And even in this minute, me choosing to sit down here and talk with you with this podcast equipment and all of those things, I mean, it is because in some shape or form, it is influenced by the hope that I have, a particular vision that I have for this podcast channel or for this particular YouTube channel, depending on where you're watching it. Though we definitely do need to come up with an easier way for me to, segregate the two, but it's okay, you kind of get it, so it's okay, it's fine. But I kind of want to get a little bit deeper into what I mean when I say that hope has the capacity to make life beautiful, but it also has the capacity to destroy it. And it's not in the sense that most people would usually think. I mean, people assume that having belief in something that hasn't happened yet is, I guess they would call it delusional. They would, call it delusional, and they would call people who have immense hope as people who have delusion. But I actually don't agree with that line of thought. I think hope is very, very essential to keep us going, and a little bit, we'll just kind of detract a bit. When the whole work visa thing was not processed for me, the future that I had envisioned for myself was no longer going to be the future that I was going to live, right? And given the extreme pain and anger and anguish that I was going through at that point in time, I thought that the reason I was feeling so much pain was because of hope, because of the hope that I had for the future of my life, and it was no longer there. And so at that point in time, I thought, okay, well, maybe if I didn't have hope anymore in my life, I would never have to feel pain. And unfortunately, what that led to was complete numbness over me living day to day. It was insane how those two were connected. And I actually felt it. I went through it. And that's how I'm very, very aware of the purpose and the need for hope in one's life. So when I was going through that phase, it took me quite some time to get out of it. When I was going through that phase where I did not have any hope in life, it was zero. I was just living each day like a robot. I could not feel anything. I did not want to feel anything. And unfortunately, what happened was because I did not have hope, I didn't recognize the achievements or the good things that were coming into my life. I could not even recognize it. It was, I still can't believe that happened, to be honest. I never thought hope would be so intricately connected to how we perceive everyday life. And so after a few months of going on like that, having no hope and just living each day like a robot and not being able to recognize the good things that are stepping into your life, you start to slip into a dark, dark, dark place. It happens so quickly, you don't even realize it. And after a wake-up call, when I was in that really, really dark space, I recognized that, okay, well, I need to have hope. But at the same time, how do I protect myself and not feel the intense amount of pain that I did have when I lost the future that I thought I was going to have? And of course, at that point, I didn't have the answers. And today I do have an answer to that. And that is, you can't protect yourself from the pain of things not going the way that you want them to. You can't do that. If you want to lead a fulfilling life, if you want to embrace every single thing that life has to offer us, you have to embrace the good, you have to embrace the bad, you have to embrace the joy, you have to embrace the pain as well. So today I have an answer to that. But what I think is important is that we need to be hoping for the right things. And let's get a little bit deeper into what I mean by that. When I say that hope is powerful, I know that hope has the capacity to make life beautiful, as we've talked about, but it also can be destructive, and not in the way that I had originally perceived it to be, and not also what other people seem to think it is. Like, I thought, okay, well, I was having all of this hope, so I was being delusional, and that's why the hope hurt me. Or, some people may think, well, if you have that kind of strong belief over something that hasn't happened yet, then, it's just delusion, whatever that is. I actually don't agree with that as of today. I think that hope is essential to keep us going. But what I mean when I say that hope is destructive sometimes is when you hope for the wrong things, okay? When you hope for the wrong things, hope is so powerful that it will invariably affect the actions that you take today. So if you hope for the wrong things, you are invariably going to take the wrong steps today. It's just how it is. Think about it. The reason why I'm here sitting, doing this podcast episode, sitting with you, chatting, is because there is some sort of hope that I have, right, for the future, whether it is the kind of connection that I wish to build with you, or the kind of results that I hope to see with my podcast or my YouTube channel or for my business, so on and so forth. It is the hope that I have for the future is in some shape or form influencing the actions that I am taking today. And this happens with every aspect of life. So if you hope for the right things, all right, that influence of the hope will make you take the right action today. But if you hope for the wrong things, the steps that you take today will also be wrong, because you are not hoping for the wrong thing. And given that that influences where you are at currently, because hope is just that powerful, it will invariably be that you are taking the wrong steps today. And the thing is, given it's so every day, it's like today, tomorrow, day after, you are going through that moment, you can't perceive whether it is right or wrong. You can't perceive whether the step that you are taking today is right or wrong because you are so invested in the hope that you have. And so you don't recognize whether the steps that you are taking today, are they harming you long term or are they actually helping you long term? And this actually ties back in with my engineering actually, because back then I was hoping for all the wrong things. I was hoping for all the wrong things. And because that hope was so powerful, I was taking wrong action on an everyday bit by bit basis. And before I realized how many mistakes I had made, it was very late. Of course, I managed to get back up, but the fall had happened, and it was brutal. It was very, very brutal. And at that point, it made me realize that hope is powerful. Hope is very, very powerful, but you need to be hoping for the right things. And then that was the lesson that I learned this was in 2015. And then fast forward a few years from then, when it was 2019, if I'm not wrong, with respect to the work visa thing, I was like, okay, but I'm hoping for the right things and I'm still hurt. But here's the thing, what I failed to realize at that point in time is that I was hoping for the right things and I was taking the right steps. I was working hard at work, and I was respected at my workplace for my work ethic and so on and so forth. I'd gotten a good job. So basically, I was taking all the right steps for the future that I had envisioned in another country. But I was also attached to that hope. And so I think we are entering another topic, which is detachment. So you can hope for the right things, and it's important to keep checking in with yourself. Am I hoping for the right thing? Is this truly in alignment with the life that I envision for myself? Is it really what I want? And every single time I check in with myself, it's kind of like a way for me to course correct. Like, okay, well, are you hoping for the right things? Because I can't figure out if the action I'm taking on a day-to-day basis is right or wrong. But if what I'm hoping for is right, then automatically the actions that I'm taking today are going to course correct and align themselves with the hope that I have in the future. All right? So it's important, in my opinion, to keep checking in with yourself. Like, are you hoping for the right things? Because sometimes you could hope for the wrong things and you could take all the steps and it could even lead you to there. And I would rather find out today that what I'm hoping for is not what I want, rather than at the end point when I've already made all the mistakes and then realizing at the end point, after I've gotten what I'd hoped for, that it wasn't the right thing to hope for. So it's important that I check in with myself. I don't know, I'll call it PTSD or something like that, because it was like it was spectacular. Like the way, like in a very negative way, like the way I just was so blindly hoping on the wrong things, and the actions that followed it also were just, it was so powerful. Hope is so powerful. But when you hope for the right things, it's the same power. It's the same power that influences your every single day actions. And so I think it's important to hope for the right things. It's important to hope, yes. It's important to hope for the right things. And we are getting into the third topic. It's important to hope with detachment as well, because sometimes what you hope for may not happen. And it's okay. It's okay. you find something new to hope for. It's not that the hope you hoped for was wrong. It's just that it wasn't meant to be. And so you have to hope. Hope is important. Hope helps you experience life. But it's also important to hope for the right things so that your actions today are aligned with the life that truly works out for you, so that you can feel peaceful and happy throughout your journey, or when you reach the end point of whatever it is that you're hoping for. And lastly, it's also important to hope with detachment. Like, okay, I'm gonna hope for this, and it is influencing my actions today, but if at some point in the future I realize that it's not going to happen, or maybe it's not going to happen in the time frame that I hoped for, I'm going to let it go gracefully, and I'm going to find a new hope to hope for. I think that's where it is. I think a combination of these three is what I would perceive as a healthy perspective on hope. And I've been through the curve, guys. I've really been through like all over the place when it came to hope. Like, there was a point in my life where I did not hope at all, and that led to a separate level of problems. And then there was a point where I did hope, but I hoped for the wrong things. That was a separate level of problems. And then there was another point in my life where I hoped for the right things, but I hoped with attachment, and that also was very, very self-destructive. So hope is very, very powerful. I think I want to end this entire episode keeping that in mind and reminding you as well that hope is very, very powerful. Don't underestimate the power of hope and the influence that it has on your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions today. And that's a good thing. Like, it's a good thing if you choose to use it to your benefit. It can go either way. I think everything has a positive and negative connotation to it. I don't think that something is exclusively bad or exclusively good. I think anything can be misused and anything can be used to your advantage. And so for me, especially with hope, I think being intentional that, am I having hope? Am I hoping for the right thing? And am I hoping with detachment or without attachment? However you put it. So I think it's these three combined that I feel protects me, while also ensuring that I'm able to experience life in the way that it was meant to, with the full spectrum of emotions. And yes, sometimes when you have hoped and you've hoped with detachment or without attachment, and you realize that it's not going to happen, it does hurt. It will. Yeah. And you take some time to process that. But when you hope without attachment, or when you hope with detachment, it's easier to get over the bump. It's definitely easier to get over the bump versus if you have hope with a lot of attachment. So I think that's where the difference is. It's not that you're not going to feel pain. It's just that you are better protecting yourself, and you are giving yourself better chances to get back up, even if things are not going your way. Okay? So yeah, that brings me to the end of this episode. If you did like this video on YouTube, then definitely do give me a thumbs up. If you liked this on the podcast, do leave me a review. Those little things help me. I gotta tell you that whatever it is that you do, whether it's a subscribe, a like, a share, it absolutely means the world to me. I tend to perceive that as you sending me your positive energy, and I feel it every single like, every single share, every single subscribe, every single comment. So I don't know how to say it, but it has immense value to me. So definitely do leave your thoughts in the comments. You can also DM me with your thoughts if you have something more to add. Absolutely, we will all enjoy all of our thoughts in the comment section as well. So that's pretty much it from me. And other than that, what else? Today's October 17th. I have got the Simple series coming out in a few days. The Simple series is going to be a series by the Marketing Nomad. It's a series of planners, journals, trackers, workbooks that are meant for helping you solve individualized productivity problems. Okay, so there's like a range of them. Originally I had planned for 5 to be released on the 23rd of October, which happens to be my 31st birthday, by the way. But then I was in like this massive creative energy, and then there were 15, and then now as of 17th of October there's actually going to be 2 more. So there's a total of 17 products that are coming out on the 23rd of October. So I'm quite excited about that. You know, it's been a lot of work on the back end. I mean, I kind of had stepped into the physical product space with respect to my books, but that was just, I kind of was dipping my toes, I guess I would say, a little bit. But now it's like fully expanding and submerging into it. So I'm learning a lot of things and it's been amazing. But at the same time, it's also been a lot of chaos. And I feel like I should talk about why I value chaos so much, and it'll probably be another episode. I really value chaos because I think that the clarity it always brings is just beautiful, and it is always like worth it for me. But yeah, we will talk about that in another episode. But for today, this is all. Those are the few updates that I do have as well. Yeah. Going through this week, normally that's pretty much it. Yeah, I never know how to end these podcast episodes. I feel like I could just keep talking forever and ever. Like I would just keep going on with no specific intention. Yeah, I have no idea how to end this sentence as well. But yeah, you get my point. I am going to end this episode. Thank you so much for listening all the way up until here. I will catch you in my next episode. Bye-bye.